Hello, you folks. Hang on, it's Saturday night. Yeah, keep forgetting it's Saturdays now. And there's 4 of us here. And it's another listening delight of Audio Who. Today we are continuing down the merry journey of Ian McNeice Winston Churchill in season 1, story number 2 of his inaugural box set of the Churchill Years with Hounded. We have an outing for David Tennant's 10th Doctor, as well as the return of Hetty Warner, played by Emily Attock, from the previous story that we covered last week. And we have the spectre of a mysterious black dog. We have Major Wheatley in the background. And apparently the 10th Doctor is a spy and an enemy of the state. What do we think of this tale in 1941 UK at the height of the World War? Second World War. You're about to find out. Before we get to that, let's get to this. It's Who Did Show Up this evening. Joining us from MIC, Mr. Will Medina. How's it going, Will?
Hey, now, how you doing? No tinks allowed.
Yes. BTM, big man. BTM. Joining us from down under, Sunday morning. He has the thunder. AJ, how goes it, man?
Hey, guys, I almost didn't make this one.
Wow. You got there in the end, man. And all the way from Texas, Houston, he doesn't have a problem taking a break from dog sitting as well as Bootsy. Texas Tom Wells. How's it going, Timbo?
Hello there.
Good to see you, mate. So, guys, Hounded. Interesting second tale. Ian McNeice does another bang-up job here for me, in the style of the Companion Chronicles / Early Adventures, as was the case from last week. And we have somewhat of a different story here. It's no robots this time. It's or rats rather. It's a huge dog. Black dog. What is it with animals? Where do we begin with this tale? Opening thoughts. Well, can I get your opening thoughts, mate, on the Hounded, Ian McNeice?
Yeah, Winston Churchill must be into bestiality, man. He's attracting a lot of animals.
Well, there you go. Yeah, rats, dogs. Yeah, oh my. Yeah.
It's a good story because by listening to it, you think you're listening to Sherlock Holmes and the Hounds of the Baskervilles.
Mm.
And he mentioned this himself in the story. What's unusual is that this mystery, we don't figure it out. Well, in a way, we do figure it out how it's done, but why it was done, we find out later on in the story, which was really unusual. And the reason behind it was a little bit upsetting because it just like the way it is in politics and everything, everybody's trying to go up the ladder and they don't care who they backstab along the way.
He who controls the hands of power controls the world, so they say. Yeah.
So they say. Luckily, the 10th Doctor came in and helped him like that. Unfortunately, Mr. Churchill lost somebody who was helping from the previous story, and it was sorry to see that person go. But it's a good story. That we're gonna find. We mention other things about happened in the story.
Mm-hmm. All right, mate. Glad you enjoyed it. Timbo, how was this one? Second outing for you.
Well, I thought it was excellent. It's I really like Ian McNeice. He's more of a caricature of Churchill than the actual character, I think, and I think that suits it very much. I think he's very funny. He's always blowing up at anybody that gets in his way. Like, I mean, he's always mad about something, which is cool. I like that, and I like it too that he also does a very good job of handling the narration in the story. And this is a very unusual story. It's very good. I like the idea too that he's got a psychological horror in his mind or something that has to be rooted out or taken care of, and it's all in the guise of a hound or whatever, which, as he even jokes around, is like Sherlock Holmes in a way. So I mean, like that story, but it's a good second one. I don't like the tragic ending though. I do think it was a mistake to lose that character so quickly into the box set. I mean, she's been in the first and the second story here, and unceremoniously gets killed off. And I think that could have been, I don't know, it was necessary for the story, but maybe that could have been the last story in the box or something. I don't know. Once again, though, the Doctor seems like he's barely there because he kind of flits in and out of the story, even though he's more into it this time because of the psychic paper and whatnot, which is pretty cool. Plus the end with whatever is in his mind or whatever demon is bothering him also is shown or whatever, but I don't know. It's very clever psychological drama there at the end, though. But it's a very good story.
Yeah, I would concur with that. The trick ending at the end when the manifestation of the Doctor's, shall we say, demon comes out to play, obviously with the scars for the time one and whatnot, was an interesting spin at the end. AJ, opening thoughts, mate?
Yeah, I enjoyed this story. As I think it was Will who said, basically it feels a bit like Sherlock Holmes with the Hound of the Baskervilles, which was I like that story personally. I love Ian McNeice's portrayal of Churchill, and also when he does the Doctor a bit, because he almost nails it perfectly, but not perfectly enough. You know, the bubbly energy of Tennant. I just wish they had an extra character actor to play Tennant's Doctor or someone to give it a little more oomph of realism to a story.
Well, alas, this is before they hired Dudman, so...
yeah, true.
Give it more welly.
Yeah, that's it, more welly.
Well,
I just didn't like at the end, as they mentioned, how Hetty sacrifices herself, to save Churchill and to save the world. But in a way, it's kind of a downer for a middle of the box set. So, yeah.
I concur with that. You guys, I did enjoy the story. The symmetry to Hounded the Basketball is obviously there for all to hear. I concur with you that Hetty's demise was, tragic. There was purpose behind it, but yeah. For the second story, a box set, it was kind of, oh, really? But once you go to the other two stories, I think you'll realise why they've bumped her up, because they're essentially bringing in another two characters for another previous couple of episodes. With Smithy's tenure, so that was probably the thinking behind that. But overall, decent story. As I alluded to, I enjoyed the whole psychological battle at the end when it was like what do you call these things in the horror movies when they put like the helmets you put them in an electric chair to manifest the being. Yeah.
You mean the thought machine or whatever?
Yeah, the thought machine. Yeah. I always my trail of thought there. It was like something like Back to the Future or Mad Frankenstein or something. But yeah, that was very crudely put together, and it was ultimately backfired on the Doctor because it was placed on his bunch, and his big bad wolf came out to play. So fortunately for him, Churchill was able to snap him out of it before that big bad wolf huffed and puffed and blew the TARDIS down. So yeah, interesting tale. The villain of the piece, the sneaky, backhanded, dastardly Major Wheatley, shooting at the poor little Swami. My God, I'm surprised this wasn't brought down for racism. Yeah, shoot the Swami and ask questions later. But yeah, it's a wee storm market sale in India. No, we've got to get back in the circle. But interesting take. For 50 minutes, you can't grumble. And I enjoyed the hell out of this. And with that, guys, we have an ensemble of about 4 actors in this thing. So any circumstances that stood out for you within this tale?
You got 5. You got 5 characters.
I think one actor played 2.
No, you got Danvers, Swami.
I forgot the Davos. Okay, right.
Yeah, Hetty. Yeah, what's Churchill and Hetty?
All right, AJ, anything stand out?
Character-wise, yeah.
Or events.
Okay. For me, when the air raid siren was going off and the Hound starts replying to it as if it was its mother, I thought that was a nice little touch. Just trying to see what else is at the beginning of the story where Churchill was willing to hunt down the Hound by himself. He pulls out a revolver out of his desk. He's like, "I'm gonna get the damn thing." It's very Churchill, because he's always see him portrayed, slamming his fist on a table or shouting at someone. I just think the portrayal of all the characters was really good. You can't really nail down one that wasn't good. So.
All right. Excellent. Timbo, anything for you, mate?
I thought it was an interesting, tragic arc for Hetty's character, who was also important in the first story we listened to last week. That she seems to know a whole lot about the Doctor all of a sudden. And I guess it's because she saw into his mind in the last episode, but she automatically knows that this is the Doctor, even though he's changed his form since she last met him. Which is kind of unusual, I think. Plus, she knows all about the psychic paper and is sending him messages somehow with that, right? I mean,
no, it wasn't the psychic paper. It was a letter.
She mailed him a letter.
Yeah, but she knows what he has to do. He has to go mail it again, or in other words, she knows she's aware of his game almost more than he is.
I think she knows what to do because he told her when they were sitting in the cafe before they get arrested.
Right. But I mean, my point is that it almost makes the tragedy of her death at the end of it even more tragic because I mean, this is a really good character, a well-developed character. It's kind of sad that they got rid of her so quickly in the box, like we already said. I think it would have been interesting if they just not done that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know in real life the character, I mean, the actual person actually did die, and I think in a bomb raid or something.
Yeah, possibly. I know we touched on this last week. We are under the impression that this is based off a real historical figure, but we're not too sure who. I assumed it was the secretary at the time that died in the during the smog incidents in the early 50s when, you know, the 4 days of smog and all that malarkey. I could be wrong on that. But that notwithstanding, well, anything for you, mate?
Well, of course, Hetty, the one that stood up because, like Texas said, it was a tragedy that she passed away. It would have been interesting to see her in the next story when she meets the next incarnation of the Doctor. I mean, that would have been interesting. And again, like he said about her knowing how to write to him like that, then you know that makes me feel like maybe she had met maybe the Ninth Doctor a couple of more times like that because she now familiarizes how to contact him. So that would have been interesting. If, you know, it's a shame that they bumped this character off like that. And in a way, you know, she was being trying to help Winston, and of course he saw like because of his enemy would see that he was mentally unstable, they would try to remove him from office like that. So that's why he got upset with her like that. And of course he tried to make up with him by helping the Doctor, and you know she paid the price. So her character stood out pretty good. And of course the next one that stood out was of course the backstabber Major Whitley because he just wanted to, you know, get power any way he can, and he's trying to control Winston by making him seem like he's a feeble-minded, and then Major's the only one that could help him like that, you know, to get rid of the dog that the Swami brought like that. What's interesting is it would have been funny if when the Doctor had the thing on his head, that instead that his biggest thing from the Time War, it would have been interesting just to hear the sound effect of the child, the nightmare child would have been showing up like that. You see how it would have sounded like that and how he would have faced it again because he didn't like facing it when he talked about it during the Time War. So that would have been interesting like that.
Instead, all we heard was a dog getting ripped to bits. So Caroline might not like this one, but yeah. what can you do? No, but I can cover the group. Hetty was a really strong character in this. I loved her, shall we say, sleuthing skills when she was, you know, unbeknownst to him, following Major Wheatley around after the Doctor got arrested and took to the safe house to get blown to bits and was tied up. Where she basically duped his driver and taken him to the actual address. You know, I mean, my God, are the people in the military really that stupid back then? I mean, I double check that, you know. Don't just wait for somebody to come at the office and say, oh, by the way, take me back to the previous address. Oh, damn my help, man. But no, interesting stuff. Who played Major Wheatley? Major
Wheatley was Joe Stone-Fewings.
Well, he was furious, and that's by the end of it because he got devoured. So, unfortunately for him. Shout out to the Swami. I thought it was pretty good, despite the Indian stereotype at the time. Played by
Amarjit Due.
Well, at least they cast the right type of actor, and we don't get any of this bullshit like the talents of Wang Xian's getting pillaged for these days. So, yeah, why not? But all in all, for 50-odd minutes, it's not a bad story, folks. Again, it's in the style of the Companion Chronicle / early years, so don't expect all the bells and whistles, but it definitely holds your attention. Very enjoyable. And with that, guys, open mic post for the cast. I think that's what I bring up before we get this rated and in the can.
Well, it was unusual that I don't know, because we haven't listened to the bit. Didn't Hetty wasn't the TARDIS with the Doctor in this story?
She pushed the driver into a false police box.
No, I know that, but I remember when they appeared behind the wall when Winston was trying to escape. I thought they.
Oh yeah. No, you're right. Yeah, she did have a wee ride. Yeah.
Oh, so she
and the TARDIS. Sorry, she clarified that. And the TARDIS.
At least he before she went, she saw the TARDIS inside.
And also, a good thing also, she was treated pretty badly by Churchill, and he ends up feeling sorry for that later because she was just trying to help him out, even though it was a bit behind his back.
Oh, that's right. He fired her. Yeah.
He fires her, and then later, of course, she throws it back at him because he orders her to stay, and she's like, "I don't work for you anymore." Remember? I mean, that was pretty. To your point about the bells and whistles, and that's the challenge though of making an entertaining listen with a smaller cast and making it work with a combination of narration and action.
Yep.
And I think they pull that off pretty well. I mean, just like they do with the Companion Chronicles, and this has even got more cast than those normally do. So I think that's a plus side of this story in a way.
Excellent. I concur. Anything else, guys?
Yeah, what's unusual that because Europe entered the Second World War much longer than America did. It'd be funny if in one of the other box sets, I don't know if the second or whatever, that he meets some of the other doctors, because a lot of them did get involved in the Second World War in certain situations like that. So it's unusual that so far in his box set, he just keep meeting the new Who doctors. But we remember in some of the other story that they like, I think the 6th Doctor and the 5th and maybe the 7th was involved. It showed up a couple of times in the Second World War. So
we'll see what they do with that. But the second box set, there was no Doctor at all, so that's why we'll get 2 for 11 in here. Because it's only going for him. So
it would have been funny if the Doctor's biggest nightmare creature would have been nobody but the 7th Doctor shows up. And be like, oh, it's you. Yeah. We kind of remember the old guy with the beard quite yet, but we'll take the guy with the umbrella. You're like, oh dear. Anything else? AJ, up for quiet.
For me, the Hound in this, it reminded me a bit of the Vastra Narada a bit, because the way it would consume the flesh and just leave the bones.
Fair point.
So I've been noticing a lot of that lately. Things that are similar to the Vastra Narada in the Who universe, but not called the Vastra Narada. I also like how Doctor disses Churchill by calling him as psychic as a brick, as I'm quoting. Basically, he's not that special. And at the very end of the story, how the Doctor is telling him he's seen the future, it's all goose-steppy and swastikas, and Churchill just is like, he doesn't believe him. So I love that bit too. But that's how he defeats his own demon, doesn't he? Because he knows the Doctor must be lying to him, which is very clever.
Reverse psychology. Yeah.
Yes.
All right, guys. If we've went round the houses and the Hound has now been put back in the kennel, I guess it's that time again.
Our host has a unique talent that he got pussy coming into his door. And it's unfortunate they only walk on 4 legs.
Yes, thank you for revealing my most deepest, darkest secret, Will. Meow. The Churchill years. Season 1, story number 2. Ian McNeice in Hounded. Like me a werewolf, but you get the drift. Or a coyote. AJ, what do you guys got a 10, buddy?
I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It was a very solid story.
All right. High praise indeed. Well, what did NYC say, man?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with AJ. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. And it's unfortunate what happened to Hetty, but I look forward to hearing to the other stories with Winston Churchill.
Yeah. Could we have a full house here? Timbo, are you going to raise that 9 or keep it the same?
I am. I'm going to give it a 9.5 because I think it was a very effective story that doesn't overstay its welcome. It's just an hour. And it was very good and it had a tragic ending, which is always good and shocking if you're not expecting it. And so go you, Big Finish.
Yeah.
I thought it was very good.
Big Finish, Jason Haig-Ellery, Briggsy and Cole. And for me, I'll concur with Will and AJ. I'll give this a solid 9. The reasons have been stated before. Has a bit of everything in here. Tragedy, pathos, hilarity, and a big dog. So you can't really grumble. But nah, shout out to the Swami. He was pretty cool, even though it didn't last long. And with that, guys, done finito and indie can for the evening. Join us next week when we will continue this box set with Ian McNeice in a story for Matt Smith's 11th Doctor. And coming along for the ride, guess what, kiddies? It's slap bang in the middle of a flippin' Christmas carol, because Kaz Ram Sadik, the adult one, is coming along for the ride in this one, and a title called Living History. So it's been a while since I've heard this one. I don't exactly know how much of a part 11 plays in this thing, because if I remember right, it's Kaz Ram and Winston, but we'll give it a listen anyway. Please check out our wonderful buddies on the wackety world of the YouTube with the guys and dollies assembled with the radio heads. What the fuck's that? Audio heads, film and movie reviews. Check out Dr. Freedom and his news broadcast and his Omega Files, as well as the adventures of Dr. Freedom and Eric. You've got Johnny Boyles, you've got Sammy Carter, you've got Mike Shannon whenever they're online. Like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down. And we're getting the hell on out of here because it's Saturday night and I need a desperado. So, be at something to yourself, folks, and each other, and keep on trucking. Waiters.